5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On the edge of the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
At least you got to see us back in the Football League doing what we do best. Oh, God, not another week of this. Hello and welcome to the Scarf Award, the podcast that mourns the loss of that high-intensity pressing game of a few months ago. And this week's all about the unspoken rules of football, like coming back to bite us. You can't book a keeper for time wasting before the 87th minute. Man United never explained to Luke Shaw why they don't sell any pictures of him in the club shop. And of course, the opposition's marquee signing of a striker who hasn't scored in open play this season will always break his duck against us. Well, okay, joining me to talk things through, it is, of course, the award-nominated Russ Johnson. Russ, you all right, mate?
I'm okay, mate. Yeah, thank you. And of course, you're also award-nominated too.
I shouldn't be, though. We're taking it. I'm just accepting that I shouldn't be now. And then if you get an award, we can share it then. I've been all humble and magnanimous to start with. So, no, if you get an award, you've got no choice but to be like, this is for Nick.
So is that your intro done then? Are you?
I've got a terrible cough. I know we've not been together for a couple of weeks, Russ, but come on. Still got a Deck doesn't do that to Anne on Saturday Night Takeaway. He doesn't just turn to him and go, "Oh, is that your intro done, man?"
I know, but I don't think Deck spent more than
Jamaican.
3 weeks away from. Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about the Wimbledon win, which seems an absolute age ago now. A couple of weeks ago, well, a week and a half ago. Crawley defeat last night. We'll talk a bit about the Tranmere postponement. I guess a bit about that. We'll look ahead to Harrogate on Saturday. We'll talk about Challoner and maybe any perceived pressure that he might be under. We'll get into all that. And we'll talk about refereeing because we have our guest with us. Debut on the podcast. It's Dave Philbin. People will know you from Twitter, won't they? Everyone's probably had an argument with you, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Award-winning Dave Philbin will have it tonight, as we're all award nominations tonight, I believe.
Okay, what are you award nominated for?
Prize knobhead on Twitter, I reckon.
Strong competition, that though. Bloody hell.
No, I'll put myself top 10. I'm not top 3, nowhere near.
But this could be your night, though. You know, you could by the end of this, your follower count could go either drastically up or down, and you could have like elevated yourself. Anything can happen on here. We're the star makers, aren't we?
Star makers, star crushers.
We had Chris Ridgway on here, and now look, he's interviewing boxers and stuff now.
This is true.
He came on, fully embraced the experience, and now he's a better broadcaster for it.
Yeah, true. We had Chris Warburton on, and now he's a 5 Live presenter.
yeah. Nihal messaged us.
I know. Yeah, now
and now he's got a book out.
Yeah, and he was on Sunday brunch and everything. Yeah.
Anyone can go on Sunday brunch. It's just idiots lying about gin. Hate that program with a passion.
We've also got another guest with us. He's waiting in the green room. He also is or used to be a ref, and we'll get that out of him probably. Friend of the show, it's Mark Brockbank. So let's get him out and let's start talking about the county. Hey up, Mark.
Evening, team. How are we?
Good evening. Do you know what? It's so nice to have 2 guests on that know what they're doing from a technical perspective, so we can hear you and we can see you. Because sometimes it's a right nightmare, isn't it, Nick?
Should we name and shame some of the people who were surprisingly bad with the tech?
What, Ryan? Ryan
I'm
was
glad
really
you said
bad.
it was Ryan. I was hoping it was going to be
Yeah.
him. He was messaging me before. How do I get on this? You sent me a link. Click on it then, Ryan.
So when Ryan's arguing with people on Twitter, is it you running his account for him? Does he have to like text the tweets to you?
No, he
have to
doesn't
go
go
and
around. He
tweet
does a
it?
tweet and then does a screenshot of the tweet that he's tagged me in. I've already been notified about on Twitter. Brilliant.
Yeah, he genuinely does that. He genuinely does it.
Keeps you honest.
Before we start, just to say, please do like the video, subscribe, and rate on any podcast player you are listening to. That really does help us, especially on Apple, iTunes. I think they're calling it these days. If you can leave us a review and a star rating, that would be really, really cool.
I've just
Okay,
hit the like button if that helps.
that does help. Yeah,
Hopefully,
we're on 11. We're on
does
to
help,
14 likes. 14 likes now. It's shooting up, so that's pretty good. Shall we start off then with the Wimbledon win from a couple of weeks ago? Like I said
Just
before.
stay on that for the next hour and then
Gonna
call
say,
it a night. Yeah?
particularly the first 45 minutes. Let's talk about that for about an hour, and then
Well, it's funny, it was that long ago. I don't actually remember much apart from Horsfall's header. The stats are pretty good, though. I mean, we had more possession, peppered the goal. They didn't really have much by way of attacks. It felt like a comfortable afternoon, but without like setting the world on fire.
we put a lot of crosses in. There was a lot of crosses.
Yeah.
Which would
Very
have been
big
even
Sam,
better
wasn't it?
had we not have got rid of a big lad to head them all in the day before.
The big lad who missed a penalty in the 95th minute last night.
He did, didn't he? To equalise.
Yeah.
Agent Quigley on the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, against our relegation rivals. Yeah. Oh.
Well, I think
can't believe we're
Wimbledon game.
staying relegation rivals that early.
Yeah, I think we were really good. Like Mark said, first 45 minutes, great. And I think ever since the Barrow game, Leicester included, we've showed that we can be a force at home. Just the aways that are doing us in at the moment, and not putting the ball in the back of the net. 3-0 at half time against Wimbledon, it would have been dreamland and could have gone on for more. But at 1-0, it's always a worry that it's going to concede, and we nearly could have if the ref was good.
So let's talk
You're
about the
slagging refs.
I was going to say, you
No,
two
it's
are
in
ref
our
fans.
defence
gonna
this
say.
time.
Yeah.
So is there a school of thought that okay, imagine that last night didn't happen, the Crawley match, right? Just imagine it didn't happen. Is there a school of thought that is there a school of thought that someone's going to get it at some point? Because I always felt there was someone was going to get it before the Wimbledon match.
Yes,
It didn't quite pan out.
The way it's going.
I think there was, but not seen it yet, have we? That first 45 against Wimbledon looked like it might happen, and then it didn't. And then we hung on, and like Dave says, a refereeing decision in our favour, and we get away with 3 points. Imagine how distraught would be now if that had turned into a 1-1.
Penalty decision was one of them as well. Like everyone, I looked around me, and everyone's got like the hands on the head, just like, oh no. And then you look up, you're like, oh, he's not giving it. He must be mental.
He's in the same spot as that
bonkers.
handball in the Leicester game. I wonder if that's a blind spot. The liner can't see it because the post in the way. The ref obviously is blind as well. So we need to do that more often in that area.
So
I actually think, though, go on, Russ, sorry.
I was going to say, in your referees' opinions, would you have given that?
Dave's a better ref than me. He can
I've
go
not ref for
first.
10 years. You must be better now.
I won an award in the league once for referee of the year, and you were in the league that year. So yeah, maybe I am.
There you go then.
It's all about awards
I
tonight.
wish I had a red card with me now.
I am award winning too. Just so we're getting that in. Yeah, I was East Cheshire Sunday League foot referee of the year, something like probably about 2002 or something like that. I think so. I'm claiming it. Yeah, going for it.
Right, if we're going for awards, I was voted most likely to do a mediocre podcast about a Division 4 football team. So, we're all living up to. That's what my careers officer said I should do. Don't bother with the proper.
Yeah, but it started out as a National League North football team, so the award has increased its value, hasn't it, Nick? So
we started, and just like that, 7 years later, here we are, just like
on
that,
the up, flying.
on the up, yeah, and until 30th of July, and then it just all hits a wall.
Yeah. Now I think from going back to the referee, the penalty decision. Yeah, I think I'd have probably given it, but only if you see it, and he didn't see it. I thought he was actually very decent. Other than that ref, I know obviously he was a bit lenient on that one. I thought he was excellent. Going back even further, I think the ref against Swindon was quite decent as well. So with that, maybe, just maybe, there is a slight improvement in officials. Don't quote me on that in a month's time when we've had a ruck of shit decisions though and things. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I remember now because the ref had a did his dad used to ref back in the day as well.
Yeah.
And he was good, wasn't he? He let a lot go. He kept the game flowing. The tackles were flying in, and he was not falling for any of the shenanigans. He was pretty good, wasn't he? By all accounts.
I remembered his dad being good though as well, but from a glance on Twitter, I'm very much in the minority. But as a kid, I always thought his dad was one of the best refs I saw. But I also thought Uriah Rennie was very good, which is apparently a rare opinion.
He was probably very good because we were very good when he was reffing us.
I always thought he was the only one who gave Big Kev a fair chance as well, Uriah Rennie. He never used to pull him to pieces for smashing people from with elbows and things. He'd just give him a bit of a free run. So I agree with you there, Nick, on Uriah Rennie. Yeah, I was always and he kept up with play because he was super fit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was no Pierluigi Collina, but who was?
Pierluigi Collina,
the first referee to ever be on the cover of one of the main football video games. He was on the cover of one of the Pro Evo games. The only time it's not been a footballer. They should just pick one of our fans every year to do it. I'd buy FIFA if you were on the cover, Dave.
I wouldn't.
Comments are coming in. Neil Deakin writes, the ref was very poor second half because Wootton was constantly having arms wrapped around him and his shirt pulled.
Yeah, but I think he'd set a precedent first half in that he wasn't giving anything like that. He was just going to let the rough and tumble go on, and therefore that carried on. That's my opinion, obviously. But the one thing I hate when I watch County especially is referees who just have to pull up every little thing, almost blow the whistle and then decide which way they're going with it. So, yeah. Maybe it's this supposed new directive, but I think we're seeing a little bit more of games flowing this season, I would say.
So that's enough about refs because it's boring. What about the actual football and actual footballers that we've got? I mean, who were the standout players at the Wimbledon match? Hussey?
I thought Wootton was great. Wootton and Hussey were the main two for me, yeah.
Camps was outstanding against Wimbledon, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
He's just been 7 or 8 out of 10 minimum every game he's played, Camps. It's been great.
But maybe not last night, as we'll no doubt come on to.
Yeah, that's the
maybe
issue. Yeah, I don't think
anyone's
coming out of last night covering
I think
themselves.
Depending on who Camps plays with, he's sometimes too good. So he's thinking one step ahead, and if he's not got, I don't know, a Crowsdale or a Sarcevic there, who are not thinking on the same page as him, he becomes almost too good and sometimes ineffective. Not ineffective because he's absolutely quality, but not being used to the best of his ability, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with that. A couple of podcasts ago, last time we were together, I think, Nick, probably a few weeks ago now, I think we were saying that Sarcevic is the same. He had his head up and he was looking for passes that the players weren't running for when
he's got
he was
Wootton coming short rather than someone getting behind. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, Hussey had a great one. Not so much last night, and we'll come to that. I thought Camps has been really, really good this season for me. Just can't wait for him to be unlocked, so to speak.
I think that we saw glimpses, didn't we, in that Wimbledon game of how good Wootton can be. Yeah. And I was looking forward to seeing him again last night, but we'll get into that, but he wasn't being brought into the game. But he showed, with his back to goal, he can find a shot from there. He'll pop it off out wide. He can do loads of stuff. So
the Wimbledon game, there was some unbelievable bits of play from Wootton where he's held the ball up. His first touch has taken it sort of into an available space and things, and just really intelligent play. I'd say Camps thought it was excellent against Wimbledon. I'm trying to remember. Hussey, as you say, and obviously absolutely nailed that free kick last night. But that's later.
Yeah. I think what was interesting about the Wimbledon as well, before the game in the concourse, everyone was looking at the lineup thinking, what on earth has he done here? And it seemed to have been the best performance of the season.
Mm.
So yeah, it was a shock to see another.
Not many people spotted that we played with a back four for most of that game either. There were still comments afterwards about when are we going to play with a back four, and it was like we just have done for 70 minutes. It was very noticeable. Even Joe Lewis was playing right back after Southern Hales went off, wasn't he? He was playing as like a mateship right back in the last few minutes. So.
Which made the changes last night all the more surprising. You would have thought it'd just be for Crawley. You'd have thought it'd be the same team as Wimbledon, but with Brown in for the injured Southern Hales, and you think that'd take care of it. So that's why it was quite surprising to see the lineup last night. I don't think anyone's getting 11 out of 11 on the Fan Hub predictor anyway. For starters, I'm having to pay for my pints again now. Bloody barbaric. I've got to pay for my pint of Madri and pretend I'm better than everyone else because I'm drinking Madri. Nightmare. It's a bloody tightrope, lads.
Yeah, just on Madri, it's no better or worse than anything else, is it? I don't know. I'm convinced that it's only popular because there's a guy with a flat cap on the front.
Yeah. It's the marketing because it's brewed over here.
Is it?
It's just It's not even a continental lager like it, but obviously some English brewery has decided they want a share of the European lager market, and of fair play to them, the marketing's done the job for them. There's all sorts of people paying £7.50 for a pint of something that doesn't taste any better than other stuff.
Yeah,
but fools and their money are soon parted, Russell.
This is true. Very wise. Very wise.
Thanks, mate. Award nominated
wise man. Maybe we should talk about that just briefly now. We are nominated. We nominated ourselves. I don't know why. I don't know why we're saying award nominated.
Well, people still had to nominate us on top of that, didn't they, to get us into the final few?
Yeah. Why are we in the final? I've not had any.
I don't know. I hope we are.
Well, that's it. So we nominated ourselves. Loads of
people
voted.
Set those 12 email accounts up for nothing.
So that's for the Football Content Awards, which is being held in Manchester this year. So we're going to go along to that, aren't we? Assuming we're in the final. Because we're in it.
Would be weird if not, wouldn't it? Like
we're
Kanye West.
We're obviously in a bigger pond now, aren't we? Because we're in the Football League podcast of the year and not non-league. So
I feel we should be able to straddle both.
What, for 1 year? Just have an overlap 1 year.
Yeah. We should be on it for both. Like how when Arctic Monkeys first won the Brit Award, they won I think they won best newcomer and best band in the same year. I think because the rise was that meteoric. And I'll tell you more about that rise later on, Russell. There's something I'm doing. Yeah, I forgot to put it in the admin. It's not as important as the other admin, but.
I'll look forward to that. So that's the Wimbledon game. Anything more about the Wimbledon game in terms of players, in terms of the result, the performance? Anything more that sticks out for you before we move on to the timeline towards Crawley?
I desperately want to cling on to this Wimbledon life raft and just keep it going as long as I could. But the reality of it is, even the last half hour was a bit. Oh. Yeah, it's still a bit nervy, even though they weren't. I mean, it's not like we were creating loads of clear-cut chances, but they weren't creating anything either. But there was just that slight thing of, well, they could easily get a penalty or a set piece or something, and then obviously very nearly did. But yeah, not a lot of ambition from Wimbledon. Very Colchester again. I thought.
They weren't as good as I thought they might be. Wimbledon.
No, same.
I think we played probably. Most teams have been better than them, and that we've come across. Maybe the exception of last night, sadly.
Well, it weird that they changed ends. The sun wasn't out. Their fans were behind that net, and they decided to switch ends before kickoff.
Worked in our favour, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But I've had a theory about this for a while, but it might have fallen down now. Because it tends to be teams that have got a couple of ex-county players in the side that will try and turn us around. So Curzon Ashton used to try and turn us around quite often. Same with Altrincham and Staley Bridge and stuff. But I don't think Wimbledon do have any ex-county players in. So I suppose it's just common sense. So if you go to any ground, they're going to want to shoot towards there. That's why we need county fans in the Railway End as well.
Yes. That is very true. When that gets built up, if that gets built up, that's going to knock that on the head, isn't it? This turning us around. Can't wait for that. I hate it when they turn us around. Really do.
Yeah, and then you get the little boo. A few people will boo as well.
Yeah.
And then there's this school of thought that it's not good for the players hearing booing like that early in the game. It's like, well, it's obviously not at them.
No.
But when it happens, there's a lot of people who do really, really whinge about it. So, oh no, the game's not even started yet, and we're already booing. Like, yeah, but we're clearly booing the changing ends.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it as much if I'm having to squint over towards the railway end for the second half.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you take my glasses off me. A lot of viewers don't know this, but before every game, Russ comes up to my seat and takes my glasses off me and says, "Well, you're an award-winning podcaster, mate. So, award-nominated. Let's not jump award-nominated podcaster. You don't. Let's hamstring you a bit. Let's take your glasses off for watch the game." So it's very tough having to squint for that second 45 minutes, especially when the sun starts going down as well. It hurts your eyes. It gives me a stress headache.
Wow.
Neil Deacon again. He's going to get on a few times. Neil Deacon. It shouldn't matter. Well, no, it doesn't from a player's perspective. I wouldn't have thought, but from a fan's perspective, I just like it. I just like us to be shooting towards us in the second half.
Think of me and my tiny eyes. What someone think of me and my tiny eyes for once?
No, it's all three of you wearing glasses, aren't you? I feel like in the minority here.
Yeah, not bad. Our mate Jordy Hart says, "Yeah, the little boo," and then the little boo gets booed by the people who don't like the little boo.
This is true.
So it gets to the stage where you got like 6,000 people booing all at each other. Oh, you love to see it. I love grown men making a holy show of themselves. It's my favourite thing about football.
Here's a fun fact: Jordy Hart lives on the next road down from me. Oh, I see him on the corner.
He'll be up for sale now.
No one knows where I am, do they? He knows.
And there's your podcast title.
I think I'm the only person to have not been immortalised in a podcast title, which, considering I come up with them, is quite humble. I think.
There you go with your humble, and
that's why I'm award nominated.
Award-winning humbleness, no doubt.
Yeah.
You are extraordinarily humble. Yeah, I'll give you that. Moving on. So from the Wimbledon match, we had to wait another 6 days to our next match, which was Tranmere away. I think we'd sold the 1,600, had we? And did we ask for more?
I think there was like single figures left of the 1,600. I think, yeah, when it came to like Thursday.
Yeah, and then of course we heard the news, the national news, and then that got kiboshed. So on to Crawley we go. I guess from a Tranmere perspective, though, when can that be fit in? Has anybody looked at the calendar? I certainly haven't.
I think end of September is the likely one. I'm quite happy because I can go. I should hopefully be able to go now. I couldn't go on the Friday, so hopefully. But yeah, it's going to have to be. It's pretty tight as it is, but it is with all football, isn't it, at the moment?
Mm.
Well, yeah, I know there's speculation. If teams had to cancel Champions League games, they might have to just forfeit because the Champions League's already been. Because it shouldn't be on this week because it was on last week, but they've got the games to squeeze in.
Yeah, so what's that? What is that something you've actually heard that they're going to have to forfeit if they can't squeeze them in?
That's what I read in the days immediately following, where no one seemed to have a clue what was happening with the sport and stuff. One of the suggestions was that there's Champions League games. There was no slot to replay them because I think the standard is if a game is postponed in the Champions League, it's got to be played within 24 hours. And in the past, they've managed to do it within. On the rare occasions it's happened, it's been played within 24 hours. But because it's normally over, I think 12 weeks, and they're playing it over like 8 weeks this season because of the World Cup break. Yeah, so the condensed is the word I was looking for. Yeah, I was thinking condensed, and then I started thinking of milk, which is it's not
an underrated dessert in my childhood, Nick. An underrated dessert,
an underrated drink.
Yeah,
you know, if you want that milky taste, then you can't go wrong with a can of condensed milk. Just don't forget your tin opener because they don't tend to come with the little ring pulls on.
Oh no.
Advice there. Award nominated advice.
Does it have to be Carnation, or will any brand do?
Other brands have Carnation. Is that what you're drinking now?
No, I'm on my works travel mug, to be honest. There.
So back to onto the fixtures then.
Yeah.
So we're looking probably 27th of September, I think. So we play Northampton on the Saturday at 2, and then the next game is the following Saturday at home to Walsall. So Tuesday 27th of September would be my guess. That's our next available Tuesday.
Good knowledge. And you're hoping to get a ticket for that, are you? Because you haven't got one yet.
No, I'll manage. Well, if it's going to be a Tuesday night, there's going to be lots of people who went to the original one and maybe can't because of school and work and stuff like that. So yeah, I might combine it with a night in Liverpool, I think.
So this is something of interest, isn't it? Because have you noticed with the away matches, there was before the season started, it was all, we're going to be clamouring for away tickets and things, because of the 5,500 season tickets we've got and the seemingly small away ends that we're going to face in League Two. It's just been dead easy to get a ticket, and it's just like I got mine hours after the Tranmere one went on sale, and I just breezed through and got them.
I found it was last season as well. Like, even though games did sell out fairly quickly, there's always people who've got too many. It's just about knowing the right people, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. Towards the end, closer to the match, there's loads of spares always going as well, isn't they? Doing the rounds on Twitter. Dave, Mark, are you both season ticket holders?
Yeah. You haven't had any trouble. I just get on at 10 o'clock every time, and then not everyone's going to be on, are they? So, but even in the away ends that we've had this year that have been relatively small numbers, we've not come close. Well, other than Tranmere, not come close to selling any of them out. It's been a couple of long journeys, but just think.
Let's be honest. We haven't really got 5,000 and odd season ticket holders. We've got about 4,000 and a load of people who signed up. Other people, so they could have a spare seat next to them and things like that. There's quite a few non-used seats on a match day that are season ticket seats. I'd guess. So
and the Red Shite down the road have won a couple of games now as well. So
this is true. Yeah.
So that they'll have gone off. The Glazers are all right for the next 6 months.
They'll be dining off that for a bit, won't they?
And to be fair, the ticketing system with this window to let you in just seems to be a little bit better. It's obviously not really been tested. We've not had a Wrexham or a Chesterfield equivalent yet, but Doncaster coped with that and Tranmere. But like Dave says, at the moment you get on at 10. I usually get on about 11 when I have my break, and no problem getting tickets. Usually get a message out in the family chat, make sure they actually want a ticket, and then, all sorted. It's very boring this season. But also, you've got to bear in mind, this might be something to do with the fact that our current away form is fucking dreadful. So,
there is that.
So, you stole my question there about the ticketing system, so we'll move on from that.
Sorry.
Let's move. That's fine.
Should we move from ticketing onto stewarding? Well, we're kind of on that area.
Yeah, if you want to.
We've not had a chance to mention it, have we? But it does appear that the stewarding company is going to be changed from the one that was only founded a few months ago and is apparently ready for war.
Hashtag war.
Ready for hashtag war. Stockport County, the friendly football club. Ready for war. If only the players were ready for war, that'd be good, wouldn't it? But yeah, so it does seem as though because there are a lot of complaints. There's been complaints for a long time. Another co-op brought it up with the club in their, I think it must be their last meeting or the one previous to that, just before the season started. But yeah, it does appear from there's a local company in Stockport who are advertising for staff for something in the Stockport area. So the assumption is that we've moved across to them. Because that's the areas of concern. Well, aside from whatever's happening on the pitch, but aside from the really important stuff that's happening on the pitch, it's the stewarding, ticketing, and the club shop. I think what most people would agree are the three areas that are letting us down. So that's certainly a step towards getting one of them sorted. Hopefully.
Yes. Nick, Hughes actually tweeted today that his away shirt is now available for delivery. So, has the container been found? I don't know.
It's soaking wet.
Yeah,
There's a couple of turtles and an octopus clinging onto it. 3 octopus with every away shirt.
Have they just recast the colours of the Swindon kit that somebody showed today? Which
Yeah.
Our unique kit.
Have we been disingenuous when we've said bespoke there, or does the bespoke nature of our kit refer solely to the colour?
I think the colour's slightly different.
Shade of blue that only we've got, and is the colour different as well?
I put it in a group chat before, and I got told to look at the collar. So yeah, ours is round. Is ours a V or round, and the other one theirs is the other way. I mean, I'm not having it that if that's the only difference, then they've done us dirty. But
I like it. I like the green one. I didn't think I could like it anymore, but in green, that's a lovely shirt. That big fan.
Oh, the Swindon one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Really good design. I mean, I've liked it. The more I see it on us, the more I like it. But yeah, just seeing it in a different colour and that, yeah, that's smart. That.
Richard Hinks or Rick Hinks has messaged in. We are working on it. I can only assume Rick is talking about the steward in there.
Yeah.
Because he's clearing the octopus off the the octopi off the change strip.
Obviously, Richard is the maintenance manager at the club.
Yeah, stadium and maintenance.
Stadium manager, something like that, isn't he? He has a big bunch of keys whenever you see him. Massive bunch of keys.
See, that's why I can't do that job. I'd lose them. I'd be able to phone a locksmith.
You'd weigh you down, Nick. You wouldn't be able to move. A
Well,
man
yeah.
couldn't drag those keys around.
It'd save me floating off on like a breezy day, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Things roundabouts.
So, should we move on to the Crawley match then? Is there anything else you want to say about the other stuff?
No. Since we're talking swings and roundabouts, we should move on to the fairground horror show that was last night's performance, shouldn't we? See,
yes.
That is an award-nominated link right there.
Yeah, so let's move on to last night. Where do we start? Let's start with. Should we start with the defending?
What defending?
Silence says it all, doesn't it?
We look absolutely shit scared.
Yeah. The stats tell us that we dominated the game, and yeah, we had the better chances in the game. But if you're going off the possession, we passed the ball between the back four, then back to the keeper, and then sideways and backwards until on one occasion we passed ourselves right into the shit. The first goal probably could have done better, but those goals go in all the time. But then the second one and the third one, I just think Brown, he's been great for us since he's come in. I think he's been really good, but last night was well off it. Don't know why. But that third goal, he could have got straight out to him. And I think Wright, he's allowed a mistake. He's a young lad. He got put under pressure by the pass from Lewis, didn't he? From Jaros from Lewis.
Yeah.
But the defending, that's the thing that's letting us down massively.
Have you seen Challenger's post-match, anybody? Because he talks quite at length about it, and having watched it back, he's it is right. Jaros shouldn't go short. Lewis shouldn't give it him back. There's clearly an option to go bigger, longer, high and wide, etc., and none of them take it. And Akil Wright ends up probably the fall guy rather than actually the one who's made the initial mistake. He just makes the last mistake of probably four. But I'm an advocate of playing from the back. A lot of people aren't. I know all sorts of people saying just get it out, smash it up the pitch, and so on. You lose a lot of the ball just lumping it forward. We used to see it a lot under previous tenants of the manager's room, and you keep the ball a lot. You build a lot of attacks. Occasionally, it goes wrong. It's just. That wasn't a good time for it to go wrong last night. The timing of the goals last night that we conceded was just the worst thing of all, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a few people criticising the playing out of the back thing. Like it's people seem to think it's another one of these things that's crept in from the Premier League when it's not. Last season we played out from the back with magnificent success. So it's not a. So it comes down. And in fact, Geordie Hatter was pointing exactly the same thing out. Individual mistakes happen when players are unfamiliar with colleagues and the system. Now, we all knew in the summer we'd rotate a lot. We've got a big squad, a lot of games. But I'd hoped we'd have at least a settled defence by now.
Yeah.
And that's where it all starts. That's where it all starts for me.
100%.
If you are playing out from the back, do you do it with the 4 at the back or do you do it with the 3? Because with 4, you've just not got enough people to be messing around with it at the back.
Yeah.
Last season we played with the 3 and it worked perfectly, like you said. But you do it when you got the right system. But also, if you've not got the players that can do it or they're not very good at it, then just don't do it.
It goes hand in hand with like how much more settled did the defence look with Crowsdale in front of it, and then he just can't. He can't seem to get a look in this season. And it's baffling. It's really weird. Like,
it is totally baffling.
Yeah,
it's the one thing.
To what we did last season.
It's the one thing. If I could sit Challoner down, and say, I'd speak to him, be like, "What's Crowsdale done wrong?" I'll accept all the other decisions, but how can that guy not be starting every game? You can fit Camps in around him. Collar's not in great form at the moment. Play him instead of Collar or something. Yeah, it almost feels like we're trying to fit 6 midfielders into the team every week because we've got 74 of them, So, Crowsdale. If you look at last night, I think the first goal doesn't happen because he's not trying to take on the guy in the centre circle that Camps loses the ball to. The second goal probably doesn't happen because he doesn't play it back like Akil Wright does. And the third goal, again, it's in the area around the box where you just know he tidies up that. He sorts it out. And it's really annoying. It's my one huge gripe with the boss at the moment, if I'm honest.
So let's delve into it a bit. I know we already are, but let's delve into it a bit more. So Challoner in his post-match interview, just going back to what you said, Mark, I watched that today. To be fair to him, he did not shirk and brought it consistently back to the players, and they need to stand up for themselves. They need to take responsibility. Liam was trying to go on to positives, and he just kept on bringing it back to them.
Wouldn't let him.
Yeah, which I thought that was quite refreshing. Not to sound negative all the time from a post-match interview perspective, but not sort of making excuses. And I think he said as well that that playing around at the back, that's not the instruction that he gave them. I think I read that somewhere last night. Yeah,
I think he said it in the post-match actually that's not necessarily what it, because he was saying about they were 4-on-3 on the halfway line, and he expected them to. He expected Yaros to go long straight away. And that's maybe, I think Yaros has been actually outstanding since he came in, but he doesn't seem to look for that longer one until we're last 10 minutes chasing the game. Whereas Ben, it's almost like his go-to is the longer one, and then he has to be almost encouraged to go out and wide and play out. I'm not suggesting that there's a change of goalkeeper afoot, like I think Ian Dowden said in the chat there, but I do think that that's something that has been a problem, that we're a bit predictable on that, maybe.
So if we do go long, and I wrote stuff down last night just so I didn't forget it because I'm getting old. Wootton, nothing sticking. So is there a school of thought that if Yaros does go long, it's just going to come back anyway?
Possibly.
With the right people in front of Wootton, as well, in midfield, if he's heading it back, then it wouldn't be an issue. I think we had too many similar defenders on last night. I think the worrying thing for me, going back to the defence, is we've got a manager and an assistant who are both centre-backs, both quality centre-backs. So surely, if anybody can make a good defence, it's them. And he has done for years and years, Challoner has. I'm sure it'll come good. But, the midfield looked disjointed. And going back to your point, Mark, about Collar not being in great form, I agree. I think that's because he's not got a Crowsdale behind him as well, because he had the freedom to do what he wanted, because he knew that if he loses the ball, the guy behind him is going to do his best or most time get it back.
Yeah.
Who's got the dog, by the way?
It's my dog being hungry.
Okay.
I'll shut him out. There we go.
I mean, he must have watched the highlights of last night then.
Yeah, really uncomfortable. I noticed as well, second half, we seem to be playing out to Hussey a lot on the left hand side, and his first thought was going long every time. And 9 times out of 10, well, he probably didn't have that many times, but you know what I mean. It just came back straight away. He was going long down the left. It just came back, and it continually came back. So going from a really good performance against Wimbledon, I thought, okay, free kick aside, and we'll talk about the free kick, but I thought he was, I wouldn't say poor, but it just stuck out to me that he kept on coming back from the left-hand side.
Yeah, there's no one there to pass it to. I think last night, if you could sum up a season, well, the short season we've had so far in one performance, it was last night. I mean, our first goal was absolutely quality football that we played. Crankshaw, great finish. And it does pay me to say that from what I've said to him about him in the past. But we'll come on to that later. But I think the football that we played was quality. But then we also had the awful defending, lack of midfield. I just think everything that we've seen this season in different games all came together in one game. Badly.
Yeah. Just looked really disjointed last night, like a few have mentioned. They're just they don't seem to have confidence in each other. They don't seem to know what to expect. Like Dave's just said about maybe Collar's form is to do with the fact that he's not trusting what's behind him. So he's not going on members rampaging runs. We don't seem to be getting crosses in apart from the first half against Wimbledon. And when we signed Wootton, the main thing was, he'll score plenty with us. We put loads of crosses in. We did for one half. I go back to someone said earlier, I'm not sure about James Brown, if I'm honest. Unpopular opinion. I thought he cost us a point at Doncaster with a ridiculous decision to try and force it with 5 minutes or 2 minutes left or whatever. I think sometimes he seems a little bit naive, but I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I don't think he's this superstar so far that a lot have been trying to make out. As I say, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but maybe that's what some of this is about, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was. I can see that he's a really, really good player. He's definitely an upgrade on what we've got in those positions. I think he's probably just not been. I don't know. I'm not going to say not had the chance, but probably not played in a team that's doing well. Maybe he needs that to get the best out of him. I don't know. I definitely think he is a really, really good player. There's loads of comments coming in, by the way. We can see them coming in, all pretty good. We'll try and make it as positive as we can this episode. But talking about positivity, because I like to be positive, don't you, Nick? 60% possession. I mean, look at the stats.
Annoyingly so.
Yeah, 60% possession, which is good. And okay, it's a results business. Yeah, we lost 3-2, blah, 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 blah. But 60% possession, 14 attempts to their 5, 7 on target. They had 4 shots on goal, 3 went in. All the stats point to we were the better team, and it's just these individual mistakes that seem to be costing us. So is that easily corrected?
Well, even looking at our shots, how many of them were clear-cut chances? How many moments can you look at from last night's game and think, oh, yeah, we should have scored there? There's nothing clear, and it's the same every week. We'll have one clear-cut chance for a goal, or in the case of some of the goals we score, it won't even be a half chance. Sarcevic springs to mind against Mansfield, just having to pull something out of the blue. Jennings scoring against Harrogate in the first round of the cup, that's a penalty. It just seems we're having to get something to pull us out the shit every week. We're not looking. Ironically, the move for Crankshaw's goal last night was the best football I think we've played all season. That little move there, Wootton kind of held it on well, moved it on to Sarcevic, and then Crankshaw was in. Someone getting in behind the defence. Finally, which is something we've just not seen. There's just no pace. Like Salvin Hales doesn't look as quick, whether that's down to injury or playing at a higher level or a combination of both. But I just don't see when Wootton does. We're talking about it not sticking with Wootton. But when he does hold it, there's no one running in behind. It's the same problem we mentioned that Sarcevic is having. He's so far ahead of it. He's looking for the ball in behind, and there's no one. And it's not like we've got that pace in the squad either. It's a matter of getting along till January with the squad like that.
I think Crankshaw. Oh, sorry, carry on.
I think we seem to be trying to retrain Crankshaw to be a striker and stuff like that. But you kind of hope with the money that was spent in the summer on the defense in particular, I think is very odd because we've signed Lewis, who is at his best either at the centre of a back three or the right on a back four, like the right sided centre back. That's the same as Palmer, except I won't have Palmer on the right of back three. So Palmer is another option for the centre. Same with Horsfall is either centre of a three or left centre back in a four. So they don't seem to complement each other.
Do you not feel we've done a kind of a League Two version of what we did at the beginning of the close season last year, where we just signed dick swinging signings. Horsfall, we can have him. Yeah, let's have him. I've no idea where we're going to play him, but we'll have him. It was the Ben Barkley. It's the
that's exactly how it feels
Fish.
to me. And I think we've even stumbled upon the answer.
Friars, maybe, but a bit better.
That was my first thought when we signed Hussey as well. He's a very Zeki Friars signing, but he's already been better in two games than Zeki Friars ever was. Yeah. But no, it just seems we kind of stumbled upon part of the answer in that we've brought Brown in on loan. I'm assuming as competition for Southam Hales, but he slots in quite nicely on the right of a three because he can carry the ball and bring it forward. I just don't see that in any of our other defenders, and the fact we've got to get along till January like that just puts me on edge a little bit.
Okay,
because
that's
where we've agreed most of our problems are.
Let's throw something out there. Loads of people commented on it around this and on which of last season's players would be getting game time if they were still at the club. I think Jordan Keane would have been getting game time at right centre back, but that's the only one I think.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Well, going along with that, we've got the Whitfield departure. Who
I don't think he's getting game time.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's all I'm just saying. He didn't fit into our system, but that works as an argument when our system is working. But it's clear, especially when we've just talked about like pace getting in behind and stuff. Yeah. But I do agree when he left. I didn't shed many tears when he left, thinking, oh God, he'd be getting so much game time. But to have that other option, if you had Crankshaw and Whitfield out wide, actually stretching teams a bit more, it'd be. Yeah. And Ben Whitfield has stayed annoyingly uninjured as well. I think we were all kind of waiting for that big injury for him in the first month of the season. Just like, see, that's why we got rid of him. And it's just not happening.
I think Hippolyte should be playing a lot more. And that would be the role that Whitfield probably would have been playing. Wider players in a 4-2-3-1, if you want to go that way.
Yeah.
Crankshaw, Whitfield, Crankshaw, Hippolyte, as it would be, Newby maybe coming into that. That's the only way I would have seen Whitfield eventually getting game time. He wasn't going to play as the main striker. He wasn't going to probably play as a wing back. So, but Keane, I think he would have played. I think after the first couple of games when it all went pear shaped, I think he would have played quite a lot of minutes. I don't think Minion would have got a kick yet.
No,
but maybe Brown wouldn't have come in. I don't know.
So an interesting tweet before said, "Where's my phone here?" Issue is, we were told last season our squad was not just fit for League Two but League One. So there were 8 new signings in last night's starting 11.
Yes,
that was going to be my next point actually.
Yeah,
because I know it was something that got said a lot last season by opposing managers. Was that we're top end League Two bare minimum. I think the Rotherham manager said it. Boreham Wood, a fair few other teams that we absolutely demolished last season have just said, that's a League Two / League One team right there. So for us to just change, it feels like we've gone back 12 months to this thing that new things are better. New things have to be better. So we just chuck all the new stuff at things and just hope, and it doesn't always work out that way, as we saw last year and as we're seeing now. It's just.
I'll be honest, Nick, my fridge is on its arse, and I'm getting a new one on Friday, so I'm really hoping that's better. But
you'd hope so, wouldn't you? Yeah, for the money they cost these days.
Yeah, But take the footballing point. Yeah,
you can't just bury your cans in the woods in a carrier bag like I do. Keep them cool. if I want a can, I have to go out into the woods and dig.
I think that's part of the issue, though, isn't it? It was Challoner and Madden, wasn't it, who said we want to go for promotion from League Two. So that sets a precedence and an expectation with the fan base, doesn't it? And now we're suddenly realizing we have to recalibrate our expectations, don't we? But the club's got to come out and do that, surely. Or Challoner has to say that, look, I know we're only 8 games into a 46-game season, but it's already looking like I'd be quite happy with mid-table, to be honest, at this moment in time.
Just don't want jeopardy going into the final month of the season either way. My heart can't take that again.
Not when we got Hartlepool last day of the season. No, thank you.
Oh yeah, and they do it. Is it our place in it as well? So they'll all be in fancy dress.
They'll be dressed up as Challoner.
Yeah.
Gimps. They'll all be dressed up as that manager that got sacked by us at the end of October. That'll be really. Because half of them have actually bought the costumes already, haven't they? I've seen when the fixtures got announced. I saw someone on the Hartlepool message board say, "Oh, I've just ordered my Judas costume." Oh, but that's the type of costume that you need to have a thing on, saying who it is, don't you? Otherwise, it's just going to be. I bet when he ordered the snide costume from China on Amazon, I bet it just says like miscellaneous biblical shepherd or something on it. It won't be like specifically Judas. So that's gonna be really awkward. Just some guy in like Jesus clothes, like walking. Yeah. Jesus clothes, I think, is the official technical term.
Yeah,
that's what the historians call it. Yeah, award nominated. But yeah. So that's going to be fun on the last day, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we're averaging less than a point a game at the moment, so that means we finish with about 44 points, which is jeopardy,
a worrying points total.
Just above jeopardy, I think, isn't it? It's. Yeah.
But knowing our luck, we'll finish on 44, and everyone who'd normally finish on lower will just. This will be the first season where someone goes down with 44 points.
Yeah,
I can just it's the most county thing ever.
You can see it, can't you? Because Barrow and Stevenage were meant to be circling the drain, weren't they? And they've just taken off. They've got like nearly half of their survival points already, pretty much, haven't they?
Yeah. Imagine how happy that Stevenage fan you had on is. He was happy before a ball had been kicked. I bet he's absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
a little bit of delighted him. He was just delighted to still have a club, wasn't he? Just, we've been there, and now we're dreaming of bigger things. We've got loftier ambitions now. Just going back to last night. Did anyone else have stream trouble last night? Did anyone else's stream go
early in the first half? But other than that, no.
So I saw quite a few people saying the same things. But I'm guessing with it being Crawley, they don't actually have the wires that you need to broadcast it because they have like crypto goth money, don't they? So I bet John Kieran and Liam Mitchison have got there and it's been like, right, I've sent you a link on WhatsApp to a picture of some wires. Just set your stuff up. Crack on.
The camera was a bit questionable at times, wasn't it? The movement of it. Particularly when they were trying to show the replay on the scoreboard whilst
the
replay. That wasn't great, was it?
Yeah, it was all a bit Maidenhead, that wasn't it?
Yeah,
that sort of levels. So it's still early days, isn't it? Like I said, 8 matches into a 46-game season. Question for everybody: is it time to panic?
Not at all.
No.
I'll panic.
Not even close.
Ask me that at 10-5 on Saturday. I think a defeat at home on Saturday, and it could start to turn a bit. I think
they'll fancy it on Saturday, won't they? They get an early goal. You're right. The ground will turn. But the question is, do I think Challoner should go? Absolutely not. Do I think he might go? Maybe, because we know that the board won't put up with it.
There's no sentiment with There's no sentiment with Jim Gannon. There was no sentiment with Simon Rusk, quite rightly. In fact, there was sentiment with Simon Rusk because he clung on far too long after that Halifax game. But John Kieran's alluded to it. It might have been on here actually, or elsewhere. But he said that we might be in a position where we need different managers for different levels. Challoner might have been the one for the National League, and it might be someone different to get us out of League Two, which is an approach that is working mighty well for Salford down the road. So I see no reason for. But I'm a romantic, as you know, Russ. When I crawl into bed next to you every night, I whisper to you and say, "I'm a romantic, Russ. I'm a romantic." And I like the idea of a manager like taking us up. Maybe it's the football manager player in me. I just like the idea of a manager staying with us and building.
Yeah, but that's fantasy world, isn't it? So football manager's fantasy, and in the real world, it doesn't really work like that.
No, thanks, Russ. Thanks for bringing me down to earth with that.
As romantic as that is.
Genuinely, who are these people who want him gone? Who are they actually seriously looking at? Yeah,
I've not seen anyone who genuinely does.
Unless Mark Scott's got Thomas Tuchel on a speed dial or something, and frankly, I wouldn't think he'd do a job with our defence either. But
within 6 months, Tuchel would be arrested for murder anyway. Because I'm not having that he's not a serial killer. He looks like he's got a human centipede locked up in his house. Tuchel does. I just look at him and I'm just like, when he had that thing with Conte the other week when they're having a little tussle at the end of the match. Oh, a Tuchel tussle. So they're having a award-nominated wordplay there. You're welcome. So when they're having a little tussle, I was wincing. I was like, bloody hell, he's going to kill you, Conte. He's going to absolutely kill you, mate. He's going to be wearing your skin. He's a terrifying. I don't want him getting another job in England. It would not surprise me if he's killed.
Mark, I don't know who it is, but I've seen some unless they're just fishing on Twitter. I've no idea, but there is the odd person who's starting to question the manager's position now. Is what?
If this was Gannon in charge now, everyone would say, "Oh, we always get better after Christmas with Gannon." And by the way, that was true. But just it's a county thing. We just start slow, always have, and it makes it more fun at the end of the season if we do well. But no panic yet.
No, and I think you've got to see what happens in January as well. They clearly wanted to get a striker in. That it's well documented without naming names that there were certain people who were meant to come in on deadline day and didn't. And that's why nobody came in, because it just didn't happen in the end. The young lad, by the way, they brought in from Ireland, apparently got ID'd trying to get his lunch at Woodley yesterday, I was told. So that's good. They didn't recognise the new signing when he was queuing up for his dinner yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, he can come to Russ. Invite him to the County Arms, and we'll cook him up something. We'll have a cookout like they do in the States, Russ.
Yeah,
we'll have a cookout and do some. What do they call pre-drink? I mean, you're not a fan of pre-drinks as a phrase, but the Americans call it something else. Pre-gaming. Yeah. That's what they call it.
Pre-gaming, is it?
Yeah. Hey, you're coming down. We're gonna have a tailgate down at Chad Hogan's house, man.
Chad Hogan. Yeah. No, it's the word pre that I don't. It's the overuse of the word pre that I don't like.
Yeah, talking about for pre-drinks. Or what pre-drinks? It's like, well, it's drinks before we have the drinks. So more drinks then.
So yeah, just drinks then.
More drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, and people use it wrong as well. We're doing something pre-cinema. But you're just doing something before you go to the cinema.
I thought you meant like before the invention of cinema. Like going all the way back to like the 1800s and. Well, Lumiere is setting up his camera, and they're like, "No, you don't do it like that, mate. You don't do it like that. Get a filter on. Get that nice orange filter that they have in Breaking Bad to denote like the desert and stuff. Have you noticed that?
I did notice they overused that a bit. Yeah.
And then there's that show that's set in Germany that has like a blue filter. And then when the last series of Better Call Saul went to Germany, they had a blue filter as well. What filter would they use for like coming to Stockport?
Probably a grey one.
I think they just hold up like the case of a sausage roll in front of the camera. That's like through the pastry. That's what I'd do.
Oh, where were we with Crawley, by the way? I forgot where we got to. Did we mention the free kick, by the way?
No.
I mean, the goals that we scored were all right. Like you say, Crankshaw's best bit of footy, best passage of footy probably this season, and then the free kick was a postage stamp one, wasn't it? So pretty good.
Very Michael Rose.
Yes, as was mentioned. Yes.
Yeah. And Ryan Rydell can do that as well. Though he's not had much opportunity this season, but Ryan Rydell's got that in his locker as well.
He has. He absolutely has. Yeah.
Well,
If you
didn't we
still,
only have
if you are,
three players last night who played for us last season start the game.
Yeah.
That's a worry. That says that,
Well,
like you say, new things, are they better?
well, that just brings us back to what we were saying before. Is like you say, new things, are they better? Basically, from what I can see, that National League winning team's been dismantled, hasn't it? And it was working well. So I can't put my finger on why there's so many changes. Unless it is the football manager thing. When you go up, you just sign a load of new players, put them in, and they start working. Generally,
I mean, we have got a
always,
few
mate.
injuries.
You've got to think about your dynamics.
yeah, but you're playing the kiddie version, aren't you? You're
No.
not playing the full fat.
I am. I'm on
you
full
played-
fat, mate.
Oh,
Yeah,
you've
I'm
grown up.
just about 15 seasons in it. Well, I saved up for a laptop, if that's what you mean by growing up, Russ. But yeah. I saved all my pennies up and put them in my little piggy bank. But yeah, I'm 14 years in on full fat FM22, mate. So don't you come talking to me about, well, do come talking to me about Football Manager, because I play it.
Sorry, Mark, you were saying.
No, just I say it's like worry, isn't it, that only 3 players survived, and there was obviously a few on the bench, but didn't really get on until game was well done and so on. I've made it quite clear earlier. I want to see Crowsdale back in. I want to see him first name on the team sheets because I think he anchors everything. I don't know about the 4 versus 3 at the back. If you go 4, you don't necessarily need to find this left-sided one. Just seeing that Barrow were dog shit last season, though, so they needed a new team. We didn't necessarily need to create a new team, did we?
Yeah, just for those on the audio, Ryan Moore has messaged in saying it doesn't matter about dismantling an old team because Barrow's team had 9 debutants against us and they've made 15 signings. But yeah, like you say, they were dog poo last season, weren't they? So Charlie's definitely got a puzzle to solve, hasn't he? And I'll stand by what I tweeted the other night. Well, last night he's got to do it pretty quickly.
Has he? Is this us becoming a little bit entitled? Is this us becoming a bit kind of, we need to be top half and challenging? Should we not really just say, wow, 11 years in non-league, perhaps we should just be happy if we're not in jeopardy? I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm playing devil's advocate, guys, but
I would. I'm the least entitled. Well, I'm not an entitled county fan, but on the trajectory that we've got at the moment, we're going to be in jeopardy at the end of the season, aren't we? If we don't do something. If we'd have been mid-table by now and maybe picked up 1 or 2 more points, even at this stage, or maybe a couple of wins, I'd be cock-a-hoop because it seems to be going okay. It's the problems that I can see in the defense that are worrying me. And like I say, with the points per game that we're picking up at the moment, we are going to be in trouble at the end of the season. What do we do? Do we just tootle along now until January and hope that we solve it then? Is that what we do, or do we change? Does Challoner? Yeah, he has to do something with the players that he's got, doesn't he? And change something has to change.
But how many changes? Do you suddenly go 6 changes at weekend? I can't see how you can, because I can't see, unless that suddenly magically works first half, I don't see that fixes the problem, making 6 changes. So he's got to almost go, well, let's try, like I said, Crowsdale instead of Akil Wright. Does that work?
Yeah. It's got to be tweaks more than changes, I think, because the stats from last night say that we were if you look at the stats, we were by far the better team. Okay, they scored 3, we scored 2. That's how it works. But I just don't think there's much tweaking to do. But he's got to do it quick because if we continue to not pick up points or get beat, then the pressure's going to mount. It's going to get harder to solve the problems, and he might be out of a job at some point in the future.
I don't think we've played terribly throughout any games in the season.
I don't.
I tweeted last night, I think every single goal we've conceded has been of our own doing. Probably 1 or 2 that are not, but if you cut out these stupid individual errors, and that's all it is, it's costing us, then we'll be looking at a completely different table on a completely different form. But if anyone can turn it around, he can. I think when he came in last season, he had a much harder job to do turning that around than he's got now. So I think it's important as a fan base that when we're in the grounds and stuff, just don't start jumping on the back, don't start singing Jimmy Gannon's Blue White Army again.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
agree. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that we should be positive. We should be looking at if we went on a run now and managed to get an away win in between a couple of home wins, well, then all of a sudden the table looks totally different. The form looks different. We just have this obviously annoying habit of we do okay at home. Obviously, home form's not too shabby at all, apart from the Barrow game. Away,
2
we're
points
dreadful.
a game we're on at home.
Yeah, away.
Which is what you want.
Going back to last season, I think it's 2 wins out of 11 and 9 defeats. I think I saw the last 11 away games. Chesterfield and Harrogate in the Carabao, the only away wins.
Yeah. And all the rest are all defeats, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe shore it up away from home a little bit more.
Well, that's exactly it. Look at the Stevenage game. We're 1-0 up with 2 minutes to go, lost 2-1. Mansfield were 1-0 up. 2 minutes later, we're 2-1 down. So there's a potential extra 6 points already.
It's injury time, isn't it? The winner for them.
And that was a forgivable one. That wasn't a lack of anything.
Absolutely.
That was one of the performances of the season, that second half, the way we scored and then defended it. But that's how fine it is. Every interview he's done, he said about it's a 1-goal swing, and it's true. That's how fine. That's how close the margins are. Yeah, but, we'll be fine.
And that's why I think it's tweaks and not major changes that we need. And that's why I thought before the Wimbledon game someone's going to get it at some point, because I was thinking, it's kind of working. So overall, then no one's panicking, and we should stay positive.
We've not had a player sent off for nearly a month now either. Admittedly, we didn't play for a week, but
just what we needed.
Yeah.
But these on Saturday, they've not won in the last 5 games or competitions, scored 1 goal. If anyone's going to get a tonking, it's them.
I said the same before last night.
Yeah, well, that's it. Last night, Crawley hadn't won at home and we'd not won away. And they got the better of us, didn't they? So
we need to change that song that we sing at away games, though, don't we, soon, if we don't win away?
It's just becoming ironic now.
Yeah. If there's one thing that football fans value, it's accuracy. Factual accuracy over anything else. Apparently, we're not by far the greatest team the world's ever seen either. Which
don't tell lies.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. Refereeing. You two, both experienced referees at quite high levels.
No.
No. So just give us a brief overview then, because you're obviously well qualified to talk about referees and refereeing decisions. What you said? What did you say, Mark? You were East Cheshire. It sounds like North Norfolk.
East Cheshire's Sunday League, I think. Yeah, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
When we used to go for a curry once a year, and they got paid for and got pissed. That was the highlight of referee in them days. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So East Cheshire's quite a nice league. Lots of lads who were from Cheshire who were quite nice. It's not like doing Manchester.
No, in Stockport.
No. Yeah, I'm from Stockport and those areas. I enjoyed booking former county player Ben Thornley once in the East Cheshire League after 8 seconds. So he gave me a torrent of abuse for a free kick, and kind of without saying it, gave it a bit of the "do you know who I am" kind of thing, and that was an instant yellow, as Dave will gladly back me up on, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but then to be fair, bought me a pint to say, thanks for that. You actually taught me what a knob I'd been. So there we go.
Nice.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Nice. Who's the most famous player you've booked, Dave?
No one that you'd know. I don't think no one. Although Rob Clare started refereeing, and he tried to fast track him up through the leagues. He jacked it in, but he told some good stories about County. None that I could repeat on here. Well, they can see it's me telling them anyway.
Yeah, well, we've had him on, and he did tell us some stories, didn't he?
That's true. Yeah.
He stopped short of the ones that were juicy, probably. As loads of our guests do. They tell us all this off air, don't they, Nick?
Yeah, and we have to keep it all up there.
Yeah,
for blackmail purposes.
we might release TSBW After Dark at some point.
Yeah.
Behind a
People seem
paywall.
to think that when you go from National League to the Football League 2, that the refs are going to go from really shit to absolutely amazing. And it's like, well, do the teams go from really shit to absolutely amazing? No, they don't. So, and half of the refs actually, well, some of them got promoted with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to get good and bad refs at any level that you are.
Yeah. What's your? I know you said it earlier, both of you. You sort of said the refs recently, or generally, have been decent in this division. I mean, refs get a lot of stick, especially last season, and they continue to do in the National League. Are you? Do you go along with that? I know, obviously, you know how hard it is, but do you go along with that? The refs are all bobbins, top to bottom, and it needs to be maybe professionalized as an industry.
There's just not enough of them. Everyone gets put off when they're young because they get a load of shit, and only the real dedicated ones carry on. It's like, what do you expect? I mean, I say that like I've never shouted at a referee at Edgeley Park, and I absolutely have.
Yeah, you get that. It's about a month after you do your ref's badge. You have a month of peace where you don't shout at referees at any level, and then you realise that that's going to be a sad and lonely existence for the rest of your life, and join back in again. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think shouting at a ref at a professional level, or at the games at a professional level, that's part of the game, and it's part of being a football fan, and they should expect that because that's part of the song and dance, if you like. But shouting at a 16-year-old ref when your 9-year-old kid's playing, that's a whole level of wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where they stop, and so they don't carry on.
You see some horrific ones. You see some real horrific stuff, and it's totally understandable why some refs, even adult refs in junior football, just go, no, I don't get out of bed for this in the morning. And so the first thing with all those kind of levels, grassroots levels, is if you've got a ref, you're already on a winner. Then let's not worry about the performance, because the guy who normally carries the bucket then doesn't have to go and ref as well at the same time, because that's how it ends up, and then it's carnage.
Yeah.
I get called a bellend before I get out of bed in the morning now, so I don't need to go out and referee. It's all done for
me. I like it. Right. Should we move on to admin and start to wrap it up? Thank you very much for coming on, Dave and Mark. Just to say to everybody, if you haven't liked the show already, please do hit the like button. We're on 31 at the minute, and we've got like 60 people watching, so I expected that to double. And if you could subscribe as well, that'd be really good. And if you're listening on the audio on Spotify, iTunes, FanHub, whatever you're listening to, please do rate us and leave a comment and things like that. That would be really, really good. Admin. We have got Tom Bennett joining us next week, which we're very excited about. Well, I definitely am, because he's my favourite ever player.
I'll just leave you for that one. I'll just get myself a drink and just watch.
So yeah, Tom Bennett's coming on next week, and then the week after, I think we've got Daz Sampson live in the County Arms the week after. So that'll be pretty good.
Let's get the plastic over the furniture.
Another one, Andy Birchnuff won the Fan Hub Game Changer Award of the month for August, I think, for his fundraising efforts. For those that don't know Andy, I think it's his job to fundraise. I think that's what he does for a living, because he's always doing something fundraising, isn't he? And Nick, do you want to tell us about an event from the co-op?
Yes, the co-op as the total. We get very quite close to over 40 grand now, I think, and that's before the money from the Hatters Half Marathon, which apparently went off without a hitch. All the better for me not being included in it, because they didn't have that inevitable death that tends to cast a shadow over these events for future years. But yes, the Sports Cooperative and Help the Hatters recently commissioned award-winning sculptor Hannah Stewart to design a full life-size bronze statue, and she has been invited to Edgeley Park on Thursday, the 29th of September, for the imaginatively titled Meet the Sculptor evening, free of charge. take place in the Hardcastle Suite, which I'm assuming is in the main stand. You'd guess, wouldn't you? I should probably find out before I go.
Yeah.
There'll be a grand raffle with some fantastic prizes, tickets priced at £5, and Hannah will be providing a presentation on her portfolio. Supporters will have the first chance to see Hannah's sketches of Danny, and there'll be the opportunity for a question and answer session. Who's hosting this evening? I hear you yell. It's myself and Steve Bellis. Me from this, and Steve Bellis from not from this, hosting it. So a big county name there, and me as well. So we're going to be doing that. There's going to be some of Danny's former players there. And then at the Walsall game the following Saturday, which is the 1st of October, there'll be a collection before the game as we aim to close in on that 50 grand total. So
the target is 50k, and what are we up to now? 40 odd.
I think it was at 40 anyway with Mark Stott's donation.
Right.
And then there's the Hatters Half Marathon, I think, is still to be added. Right, taking from that. And then so it's getting very close, and we're nearly there now.
Discount for cash and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all that. Yeah, I'll bring my card reader. And so it's all hopefully by the end of this season, hopefully we'll be looking at getting a good statue up there, hopefully.
I was going to say, how long will it take her to sculpt it? But that's probably one of the questions in the Q&A, isn't it? Don't steal anybody's
thunder.
There you
go. No, because I'm hoping for lots of questions. So yeah, if you want to come and ask that, Russ, I'll make sure you get to the front of the queue.
It'd be nice though, wouldn't it? Because obviously if we're calling it the fan park outside, which we think is going to be the Cheadland car park, nice statue there, nice new paving, and a nice little fan park. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully they can get the bricks fixed on the memorial wall. There's a lot of broken bricks.
There is,
on there. Yeah. So get that all tidied up. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm very excited for the fan park.
Yes.
It gets very hot and sweaty underneath the Cheadland concourse. So it'd be nice to venture outside for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of county mandated outdoor time.
It gets nice and sweaty, but in the winter though, it's nice and cozy in it. I like to go in there an hour before kickoff, stand with Dave, have a couple of pints
with your blanket,
with my blanket and my flask, my weak lemon drink.
Yeah. Do you know my mate Matt once turned? I might have told this story on it before, but my mate Matt once turned up. It was Barrow at home in an FA Trophy replay, and he turned up wearing Ugg boots.
Ooh, did he?
A grown man turned up to a football match wearing Ugg boots. Yeah,
that's worse than turning up in a United shirt. That.
Yeah. I said that at the time. That's the one and only time I've gone to like the steward at like the gate to the main stand and be like, "Can I come and sit in there, please?" Just be as far away as possible from it. I mean, I like a nice comfy boot as much as the next man, but I wouldn't dream of wearing a pair of Uggs to a football match. Oh God.
Dave, what's the worst thing you've worn to a county match? Mark, you as well, and then we'll finish.
I used to have this coat. It was a snide coat. It wasn't called the North Face. It was called the North Ridge. So I had to snide on North Face. It was like I wore it for skiing. I thought it was a nice coat at the time. I look back on it now. Like, what the fuck were you wearing there?
I can't. I think just ill-fitting shirts, as my waist has clearly expanded over the years and so on. And I'm now reliant on those additional extra tent sizes that Puma have kindly started doing. So just ill-fitting shirts, really. And
good stuff. Right. Thank you so much for coming on, Dave and Mark. You've been excellent guests. You are more than welcome to come back on at any point in the future. Nick, as always, you've been okay.
All I can
award winning.
You've been that far, mate. Probably still
award-winningly average, Nick. Yeah, well done,
yeah. If there's an award for averageness, I'd have my rubby little mitts on it.
Mid-table respectability is the way forward, clearly, tonight, Nick.
It is,
It's underrated. Yeah, it would be nice. Get your shit together, County.
And get us that mid-table mediocrity. Right. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everybody, for listening and watching. And we'll be back next week with another show. See you later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.